You're rocking with some of the realest coaches in the game. Coach RB, Coach CB. Area code 459.
Welcome, guys, to Area Code 459 Podcast. It is your Coach RB here with my co-host, Coach CB, and also we have a special guest in the house tonight. Before we get to the special guest and we get to the podcast topic, we want to go ahead and thank some people that are special to us.
Man, we just want to give a special thanks to our sponsors, In-House Inc., J. May Crafts, and East Bay. They've done a fantastic job with helping us get our logo and our brand ready to go. We also have a store coming soon for you guys so you can buy our merchandise and start repping our brand. Also, we want to thank everyone that has helped us get this off the ground, our family, friends, everybody that supports our culture, and most importantly, God, because without him, none of this would be possible.
Thank you, Kate, and really appreciate it. Like I said, we got a special guest in the house. Man, this guy's introduction is just going to be so fire because it could be so long, but I'm going to make it so short. Man, today we have Mr. Willie Spears. He is a professional speaker, teacher, author, mentor, former athletic director, head football coach, columnist. He is a minister. Most of all, he's a husband, a father, a friend. He's known for his motivational speaking. He's currently an assistant principal at ValentCross.org, and he is the Dean of Culture. What's up, Mr. Willie Spears?
Man, thank y'all for having me on, baby. Anytime that you can hang out with RB and CB, it's definitely a good day.
Oh, man, we appreciate that, man. We appreciate that. Well, today we are talking about irrational fear, and irrational fear is something that we really wanted to just jump into because we know that as coaches that our athletes go through irrational fear. We know as fathers, we know as friends, we know as girlfriends and boyfriends. Hey, you might be going through something in your life that you're afraid of, and we want to just speak to one of our top-notch speakers to talk about this. Go ahead, CB, tell us about irrational fear.
Well, irrational fear, when I looked it up, is just a fear of something that doesn't really have an impact on you. So something like fear of water, fear of spiders, something that doesn't really affect your day-to-day life. But, you know, everybody has fears of anything and everything. And so a lot of times, when you're afraid of something, it really hinders you from progress or moving forward. So, Willie, I was just wanting to know, how do you overcome the paralyzation and the mental block that fear can cause?
Man, that's a great question. I want to say I think it's great you all are talking about this. No one talks about this. These are real issues. No matter who you are, a CEO, professional athlete, a parent, a store owner, doesn't matter, a coach, you're going to have fear. And some of the fears are irrational. It's hard to recognize which fears are real and which are not. Your question was, how do I overcome them? I think my faith is a big part of it. I have a deep faith. I really believe that God made me. I really believe that God put me on this earth to add value to people's lives. And I really believe that when I am trying to honor him, that he order my steps. And so there's no reason to be afraid, even though I still am afraid at times. When I think about it, there's no reason to be afraid because he's in control. It's like being in the water with the best bodyguard in the world, or like being on a plane with the best pilot in the world. I'm walking through life with the one who gave me life. And so my faith is a big part of overcoming fear, and also my preparation. You know, people often say, man, how do you get in front of all those people and talk? I just spoke at in Jacksonville, Florida, at the stadium there where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. And the stadium wasn't packed out, but I did speak in the stadium, and it had a lot of people in the stadium. And that's a big stage. Your face is on that big screen. How do you not be afraid? Well, you prepare. The speech I gave that day, when I gave them the speech, that was my 5th or 6th or 7th time giving that speech. Now, I wrote the speech the night before because I have to write speeches within 24 hours of me giving them so that the passion will come out. But I rehearsed it all that night. I rehearsed it that morning. I rehearsed it in the parking lot before I got into the stadium. So that eliminated the fear of me messing up, of me failing because of my preparation. So I would say my faith and preparation has allowed me to overcome fear.
Man, that's awesome, Coach. We really appreciate that, man. That is a big time gym. And yes, we are people of faith as well. Man, Coach, you are known as the first Black athletic director in the Panhandle in Washington County since integration. You are known as the first Black head football coach in Washington County. You are known in the game of football. And as we said in the description earlier, football is a game of warriors. It's a game of titans. How do you get young men to overcome those fears and those anxieties on Friday night? You got the lights, you got to live up to the expectations. You got to be these victorious gladiators that they want to be and that you want them to be. How do you get them to overcome those anxieties on Friday night?
Excellent question, man. I think the answer to that is embrace failure. Like, ask them, who's your best player you ever seen in football? Who's the best? Peyton Manning's the best, or Tom Brady's the best, or O.J. Beckham is the best. And this, no, Odell, those guys fail. So Odell Beckham is a great football player, right? Okay, I give it to him. That one-handed catch he made against the Giants when he was with the Giants, oh, that was an amazing catch. Great play. Do you know that Odell Beckham has never won a playoff game? He's never won a playoff game. But that doesn't stop his confidence. He believes he's the truth. So you can't play the game worrying about failure. You got to dive for that ball. You have to make that block. You have to run full speed into that guy, believing that my time in the weight room is going to protect me, believing that my coaches have prepared me, having faith in everybody on the field. I use an acronym with our players, and I tell them we don't want to be the best in everything we do in the classroom, in the community, on the field. The B is for believe. You want to believe in yourself. You want to believe in your coaches. You want to believe in your teammates. The E is for execute. You want to go out there and execute the plan that the coach has given us. The S is for sacrifice. You got to sacrifice your body, sacrifice your time. And the T is for transform. You got to turn into a different person when you go in that field. I often tell people, if you play football, you got to be crazy. And Coach, you know, you played football, you wrestled, you played football, you played basketball. But to play football, you got to be a little off your rocker. You can't be really, you ain't got it all. My boys used to say, you ain't wrapped too tight.
Right,
We're trying to get you faster and faster and faster, and then we want you to run into somebody full speed and then get up and do it again. That don't even make no sense. So if you're going to be that guy, you got to transform. In the hallways, I don't want you to be that guy. In Walmart, I don't want you to be that guy. In church, I don't want you to be that guy. But when you cross that white line, you got to put that helmet on, and you're a different species. I don't know if it's human. I don't know if it's animalistic. I don't know if you're a mammal. All I know is you're not of this world, and you finna take somebody's life.
Woo! You make me want to strap it on right now, but I don't have the wheels like I used to, man. The wheels are squeaky.
Hey, you and me both. I hurt myself just thinking about it. But I'm saying you have to have that preparation. Takes the fear out of it. But if a guy's scared, football gonna find it out. You can't run from it. We gonna know real quick. We gonna know, man. He ain't about this. He ain't. I've had guys, thugs in the hallway. They a thug in the hallway, but they get on that football field, they turn into a little princess real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
And so I think back to faith and preparation, but also realizing I have to transform my mindset and depend on what my coaches have given me to execute and believe in my abilities, and that's gonna overcome that fear.
Nice. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate that for sure.
So do you think like teaching them that acronym and then having faith and preparation is really how you face fear head on?
I think that, and you got to create success. So you don't want to take a very feeble 9th grade player and put him against your biggest, baddest 12th grade player. Then that's going to hurt his confidence, and he may not ever overcome that. So you want to create moments where the young man can be successful, and you build on that. And then after he has success, he believes, you know what, I really can do this because I've had success. So we call it creating winnable moments. So we put them in a situation where it's some people call it a Jedi mind trick. We kind of trick them, but we put them in a situation where they're going to be successful. They're going to win this battle. We know they are. And they're not going to win it because the guy's smaller or because the guy's not as good. We're just going to fix it where they win. And that's going to build their confidence. And then when they get too confident, we're going to fix it where they lose. So that humbles them out. You know, my favorite book says, those who humble themselves will be exalted, and those who exalt themselves will be humbled. So we want them to have an even kill mentality, and that acronym helps with that, but also putting them in situations where they can have success, builds their confidence where they're not afraid to fail. And when they fail, we love on them. When they jump off sides, we don't go off. We love on them. Hey, bro, come on, man. You know better than that, man. Come on, man. Watch the ball. When they drop a pass, we don't dog cuss them and grab their helmet and throw them down. It's not 1985. We don't do that. We say, come on, man. You better than that. You got this, man. Matter of fact, after practice, why don't you catch 25 balls, man? Just to get it going so you can feel yourself. So we use positive reinforcement and we coach through love, and they're not afraid to fail. They're not afraid to let us down because, again, my favorite book says when one part suffer, all parts suffer. When one part rejoice, all parts rejoice. So what that means is when they have success, we all celebrate. Right. When they fail, we all hurt. And they're going to want to do well because they want us all to feel that great feeling of excitement when good things happen.
Coach, man, I really, really, really like that. And a lot of people know, I said that you were an author. I don't know if our listeners know. I'll go ahead and give you a shout out. I know that you've written 6 books, right?
Yes, sir. 6
books. 6 books, man. And that is just a very, I know you're very blessed and you're very inspirational. Man, how could you relate those moments that you just gave us when you said creating winnable moments? How can you relate that to preparing these young athletes for the adversities of their trials and tribulations within their life?
Man, that's the golden ticket right there. They need to understand, and this is what I tell my players all the time. If you can handle football practice, and I'm sure this can be relatable to anything else, but we're talking about football. If you can handle football practice, if you can handle, a situation where you don't count your reps, you make your reps count. A situation where you did all this practicing, but you don't get to play as much because you're not as good. Or we worked our butt off, but we still lost the game. You're going to learn things that's going to help you in life. Because when you start life, I tell people all the time, I said this at the graduation. Y'all said, y'all can't wait to be grown. Well, it's here now. I can't wait to get out of high school. Oh, it's here now. Be careful what you ask for. You don't want these bills. You don't want these problems. Your biggest concern was picking out which Jordans to wear. Now you got some real issues. So I believe that if you train them right, you will give them the tools they need in order to be successful in life. Because life is adversity after adversity after adversity after adversity. And so we want your test to become a testimony. We want your mess to become a message. We want these bad things to turn out to be good. And that can happen. But it only can happen if you realize that this is a process. And we have to be more concerned with the process than the destination. And so I tell our players, young man, you're going to have some issues. You may have problems as a father. You may have problems in relationships. You may have problems on your job. You may have problems in your family. But the tools and the strategies that we teach you in sports can help you in your life. And you can understand a real man takes ownership. A real man looks in the mirror and says, this is my fault. In a relationship, it may be both of our fault. But if there's a problem, it's my fault too. If as a father, if my son's not listening, it ain't all him. I need to find a better way to teach it to him. In sports, if we're not winning, it ain't all the players. I need to look in the mirror. So leadership is ownership, and ownership is leadership. And so a real man, like Michael Jackson said, I'm talking about the man in the mirror. And I believe if you're going to face adversity head on, you're not going to run away from it. You're going to run to it. David ran toward Goliath. He didn't hide. He ran toward his biggest giant. And that's what we have to do, even when it was scary.
Wow, that's really good. And, fear can be something that's so hard to overcome. And my mentor, he tells me every time I see him, he's always tells me this, that the fear of failure is scarier than death itself. So how have you been able to embrace failure to ultimately find success in your life?
I think your mentor is 100% right. What has worked for me is I have studied successful people. And every successful person I have studied is a big failure. Michael Jordan said, I have failed over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed. So if you look at a guy, let's say you like hip hop music, look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z didn't get into the hip hop game until his mid-20s. He did an album with R. Kelly. They were so excited about this album. The album flopped because R. Kelly was involved with a scandal when the album came out. And he bought stock in some company. It didn't do well. He had fat form. It did well. Then it went down. Like any industry. Go with Apple. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. There was another gentleman that was in there with them. He got out of Apple early. He didn't think it was going to do anything. He would be a billionaire right now if he would have stayed in. They fired Steve Jobs from his job. They fired him. Oprah Winfrey. The first TV station she went to, they said, you don't have a face for TV. The Beatles, the first record company they went to, they said, y'all don't have a good sound. Walt Disney, the first newspaper he went to, they was a good cartoon. I go on and on and on. Abraham Lincoln, he ran for president and lost. Ran for Senate and he lost. But he didn't give up. You know, so anybody that's successful, they are good at failing. And the most successful people, they try more often than unsuccessful people. So when you try more often, you fail more often. The reason I've written 6 books is because I tried to write 20 books. The reason most people haven't written their first book because they're afraid they can't do it. The reason I've been the head coach of 7 schools now because I've applied for jobs at 25 schools. Like, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm ready for you to tell me no so I can get to my yes. Yeah, hurry up and tell me no.
Right.
Hurry up and tell me I wasn't good. Hurry up and tell me that I'm not good enough. Cool. What do I need to work on? Okay, cool. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to try again. You're not good enough, Willie. Thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go try again. Most people are afraid of that. And the reason they're afraid, guys, is because they're afraid of what people think of them. We have to get over the fear of worrying about what people think. People that we don't even value. Like, we don't even know them. But we're worried about what they think of us.
Right.
Like, I don't even know you. Like, why would I value my dad's opinion. I value my wife's opinion, but I don't value your opinion because we're friends on Facebook.
Right.
People say, if I was you, I wouldn't have done that. Well, you're not me.
Right.
That's very obvious. You're not me. So I know you wouldn't have done it.
Yes,
because you're afraid to fail. Why would you do that, coach? You look stupid doing that. You know, you're not good at that. Well, I'm not you. You're playing it safe. You just want to survive. Well, I want to thrive. And in order to thrive, I got to jump off the trampoline. I got to jump off the diving board, even though there's no water down there. I got to have faith that when by the time I hit it, it's going to be water. And people are afraid to do that. And that's why they don't maximize their potential.
Right. Coach, we just celebrated Father's Day last month. Do you have an irrational fear when it comes to your kids and your family? And do they have fears?
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of fears. My son is sick. My daughter's sick. They were healthy from 0 to like 12 years old. And then all of a sudden, 12 or 13 years old, we found out our daughter is a type 1 diabetic. She lost 20 pounds in a week. Our son has Crohn's disease. We're actually driving right now because we have an appointment in Birmingham, Alabama tomorrow for him to get an infusion. And he got down to 66 pounds. I mean, you were a small guy, coach, but imagine being 14 years old weighing 66 pounds. So there's a fear there. There's a fear of death. There's a fear of uncertainty. There's a fear that the doctors have no idea what they're doing. There's a fear that your children may go to sleep and not wake up. So there's all types of fears. So one thing that fear does is it helps you embrace each day and don't take a day for granted and don't take a moment for granted and don't take a hug for granted or high five or joke. That's one thing. The other side of that is, we have to understand the importance of knowing that my number one job is being a father. Like you listed all those things that you took off my website and that you know about me for my resume, and I appreciate it. But what you said was, most importantly, he's a husband and a father. The greatest thing I've ever accomplished is Taylor and KD, by far. I won a state championship as a weightlifting coach at Vernon. I scored a touchdown and win a national championship in college. I've written 6 books. I've been on ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith. I've been on HBO Family. I can go on and on and on and on and on. You know, I was on CNN as a high school student. I mean, I can go on and on and on and list accolades. But the greatest thing I've ever done by far is Taylor and KD. I don't know why God picked me to be their dad. I don't know why Neek picked me to be their father.
Yes,
but
sir.
that's so the fear is that you're gonna mess that up.
Yeah.
Because what if we're raising the next Mother Teresa? What if we're raising the next Dr. King? Whether we're raising the next change agent, you know? So somebody raised Derek Chauvin, the officer in the incident with George Floyd. Somebody raised that guy, you know. And I'm not saying they're raising caused him to do that, but somebody raised that guy. I want to raise somebody that changes the world in a positive way. I want to raise somebody, and it may not be national. You may not never hear his name, but the people at Walmart where he works, he makes a difference in their life. But by his smile, by the way he doesn't judge people, by the way he loves people who are different than him. You know, and I have these L's that I use when I'm talking to people about how to make a difference in life. And the first L is love. We got to love each other. The next L is lift each other up. And the next L is we got to learn from each other. Then we got to laugh at one another. And then we have to listen to one another. And then we have to lament. We have to cry. We have to be empathetic toward one another. And then we have to lead one another. We have to lead. And my job as a father is to lead my children, because they won't always be with us. They're going to move off and maybe get married one day, go to the military, go to college, whatever they're going to do. But while we have them in the house especially, the fear is that we may mess this up. You can't mess this up, guys. Like you can miss on some things. You can't miss at being a parent. You can't miss. It's too important.
Yes, sir.
And so there is a huge fear that I won't be the real deal, that I won't be what I should be, that I'll respond the way I should respond, that I won't act out of love, that I won't be the example that God called me to be. And so there's a deep fear there. But what overcomes that fear is love. And when you love someone, I believe love covers a multitude of sins, the good book says, but it also covers up for fear when someone knows your heart.
There you go. There you go. Powerful, coach. Whew, I even clapped during that thing. Powerful.
Bless you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, prayers up for your kids. Definitely praying for them. But
Thank you.
a lot of time, like you said, that fear, if you cover it up with love, it won't affect you so much. But has there ever been a time where your fear has actually been a motivating factor for you to push yourself harder versus let it drag you down?
All the time. All the time. One thing I love about coaching is the rigor. Like, you know, no matter how hard you prepare, you can still lose. And I love that feeling. I like speaking, but there's really not an opportunity to lose when you speak. Even if you don't do a great job, it doesn't feel like a loss, you know. So it's different. Writing books, you don't really have a loss there. You know, sometimes you have an idea in your head, it's hard to get it on paper. But once you complete the book, it's a win. Even if 5 people buy it, it's a win. You wrote a book. Well, in coaching, you can do everything right. You can prepare well, have your guys ready, and you just aren't good enough that night. And I love that. That fear, the fear of losing, motivates me to watch another film clip, to put my phone down and focus, to go watch a game, to go scout, to call a coach and get a tip, to love on a kid, to drive him home when this, like you talked about earlier, coach, parents passing away or being incarcerated, to find out more, to go sit down with that young man and just listen. Don't be the talker, be the listener. I often say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen twice as much as we speak. Yeah, fear motivates me to do the little things to be successful.
Coach, that's powerful, man. That's powerful, man. Dude, I have really, really enjoyed listening to you. And, man, I'm just so inspired. I'm so inspired. Caitlin, you have something else for Mr. Spears tonight?
Last thing I just want to know is, how do you develop the self-confidence to not let the fear of disappointment keep you from fulfilling your dreams? Because I know a lot of time in athletics, and especially in life, there's a lot of external pressure placed on you, whether it's by people or it's by yourself. So I just want to know how you develop that self-confidence to not let that disappointment keep you from accomplishing everything that you set out to accomplish.
I think the number one thing for a positive support system, you have to have people around you that aren't yes men, that's going to tell you what you need to hear, that's going to call you out when you need to be called out. Also, that's going to support you. You got disconnected. You guys back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
It's all good.
You got to have people around you that support you. You got to have a cheerleading. You got to have a fan base. And that's going to help you go through the hard time. Like, I don't care who you are. Life is going to slap you in your face. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is rich. He's tall. He's successful. And his son had major heart problems.
Mm-hmm.
And his fame, his money could do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fear there. I don't care if you're 7'1", 300 pounds. There's a fear there. And so to answer your question, CB, for me, what I've had is an accountability partner, somebody that's going to keep it real with you, and then a positive support system. That kind of helps give you the confidence you need. And then when you get a little too big-headed, when you get a little too arrogant, a little too prideful, then they can come bring you back and say, whoa, calm down now. Now, you ain't all that. Remember these areas that you're weak in, these areas that you're not so proficient in? Yeah. So don't act like you got it all together. You know, you're just having some good moments. So have those moments, but don't forget where you come from. Don't forget what it took to get there. And then once you accomplish that goal, you got to have the intestinal fortitude to try another goal. See, a lot of people, once they accomplish one goal, they don't want to accomplish the next goal. They're satisfied. But Steve Harvey wasn't satisfied with hosting Showtime at the Apollo. He wasn't satisfied with having the Steve Harvey Show. He wasn't satisfied with being a syndicated radio columnist. He wasn't satisfied with having a Family Feud. He wasn't satisfied with having the Steve Harvey Show. He wasn't satisfied with the Kings of Comedy. He just wanted more and more and more. And people will limit you based on their limitations. Like people will tell you, come on, RB, you can't be doing that. How you going to do a podcast and you trying to do this, this, and this? You can't do all those things. They're saying that because they can't do all those things. How you going to write a book and be a coach and be a minister and go speak everywhere? Man, who you think is? You can't do all those things. No. You can't do all those things. Don't limit me because you're limited.
Right.
And so when you have a positive support system and cheerleaders and people that keep you honest and help you keep it an even keel, you're able to strive for greatness. And you may fail over here. It may not work, you know, but that's okay. Keep going.
Right. Coach, man, one of my favorite quotes is satisfaction is the death of a man's desire, man. That was my senior quote as a senior captain of my football team. And I said, look, I'm just not satisfied. I got here 4 years and we just got to keep doing the do. So, man, I know what you mean. Don't let people, you know, tag you on your limitations or limit you because they limited. Coach, man, at the end of our podcast, we like to huddle up, man. Just like at the end of every practice, at the end of every game, you just like to reflect on some things, and we call it our call to action. So we actually do a call to action at the end so that we just tell our listeners like something we want to give them, a little gem, something that they can take with them that, you know, we can that they can work on. So we're going to actually allow CB to start us off with her call to action, and then we'll let you do it, Coach, and then I'll wrap us up. Go ahead, CB.
So for our listeners, I want you guys to write down 5 goals. Goal number 1 being the easiest. Goal number 5 being something that will be really hard for you to accomplish, where most would look at you and think that you're crazy. And then make a plan and figure out how you can accomplish each goal. And I know it's going to be scary. I know you might fear failure, fear disappointment, fear not meeting those goals and expectations, but face that each goal head on. And when you accomplish number 1, move to number 2, and then move to number 3 and so forth.
All right, Coach.
All right. I'm writing that down, man. I like that, CB. I like that. Writing that down.
Good.
I think it's great that you all are doing this, by the way. My call to action is cut 1, add 1. Cut 1, add 1. So this is going to be difficult now, but I believe if you want to grow, you have to prune. In my favorite book, John chapter 15, it talks about pruning. So in order for a plant to grow, you got to cut away at it sometimes. So I think you need to cut somebody out of your inner circle. Somebody that's not adding value to you, somebody that's bringing you down. You know they are. You're weak in this area, and they want you to keep doing that. If you're trying to lose weight, all they want to do is eat pizza and ice cream. Well, I'm not saying don't be their friend, but you need to cut their influence out, limit their time with you. But then you need to add one. You need to add someone that's strong in the area where you're weak. I often say, if you're the smartest person in the room, find another room. We need to be stretched. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And I say this, I'll be quiet. My daughter played travel volleyball for years, and she was on a team when she was young. Everybody was 2 years older than her. And she didn't get better. They were just so much better than her. It didn't work out. Then we put her on another team, and she was the best player. She didn't get better there either. Then we put her on a team, and it worked out. She was right in the middle. It was about 4 or 5 girls she was better than, and 4 or 5 girls that was better than her. And that pushed her, that stretched her. So cut 1, add 1. Cut somebody out of your inner circle. Don't just own them, but stop giving them as much influence that you've been giving them, and then add someone in your circle that's going to take you to the next level.
Right. Man, Coach, man. Cut 1, add 1. I love it, man. Cut 1, add 1. I'm definitely going to be looking into that. Man, my call to action is really, really simple. man, I want y'all to go follow the Willie Spears Experience.
Yes, sir.
WSE. Y'all go check my man Willie Spears at williespears.com. You don't need any other thing from me. Call to action. Go follow this man. He's on fire. He's on fire for God. He's on fire for motivation. He's on fire for students. He's on fire about life. You got every bit of nuggets, every bit of passion. He doesn't do anything half. He does it all the way through. We're just a little podcast getting off the ground. But he said, you know what? Anytime I can come hang out with Coach RB, Coach CB, I'm going to do it. So y'all go follow the Willie Spears Experience. That is williespears.com. Coach, man, I really appreciate you, man. I'm blessed. I'm humble. Thank you so much. We're going to end with our mottos. Do you have any motto that you like to tell your players before you leave the field or anything?
Think about future decisions based on the future you, not the current you. You know, that's what I always tell our guys. And I want to tell you guys, I want to send you a free book. So when we get off the call, hit me up with your mailing address. I want to send you guys a free book. And I want to thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Willie, do me a favor. Restate that, though. We kind of lost you at the end there. Say that again. We need that gem, that motto.
All right. I tell our players, and I try to tell everybody, smart people think about the future. Make decisions based on your future self, not your current self. So when you leave practice, don't go do something stupid that's going to hurt you 10 years from now, 5 years from now, or hurt us next Friday night. You know, so smart people think about the future. And I want to thank the 459 for having me on. It's been a great pleasure for me. I'm humbled to be asked to be on. And you guys are doing great things. This thing is going to blow up and reach the people it was intended to reach. And give me your mailing address. I want to send both of you guys a free book.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Well, guess what? Area code 459 is where love is the frequency and
where we get 1% better every day. Yes, sir.
Right now. Thank you, Coach. Man, y'all be safe, man. Prayers to your family, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, CB. Thank you, RB.